Yes.
Okay. So before we start the video, or rather I discuss the first photography project, let me just ask you, if I just randomly tell this class, and when I say this class, it is meant to everybody, that I want you to click a picture of, say for example, a fast moving car, okay, a fast moving two-wheeler on road. Okay, so my brief is as simple as that. Click a picture of a moving vehicle. What would be your preparation, or how would you go ahead and click that picture of a fast moving vehicle, a two-wheeler or four-wheeler? Okay. That is
Sir,
my
in
question to you. Now just recollect, okay, fast, whatever technical aspects, whatever artistic aspects you recollect within this quick time, you can just
so
share with.
you
Sorry, I
can
guess the audio
select
is
shutter speed.
Yeah, one by one. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Sandeep, go ahead.
You'll take it into semi-auto mode and select shutter uh, priority so that adjust the shutter as required the speed actually.
You will increase the shutter so that.
Increase the shutter to become so that I can capture the moving scooter, the vehicle, whatever it is that properly actually.
Okay, so he will. Everybody agrees. Shutter priority is the quickest way, and increasing the shutter speed will give you
First thing is, I think I will select the lens because I will not be doing close-up photography. I'll have to probably stand a little far and take the picture because I need that much space.
right. So
The
selection
second
of
thing is, of course,
uh,
I'll put the camera on shutter priority.
okay,
Yeah. So ISO
20.
probably I'll keep it on auto.
okay, and your objective would be to click a picture to achieve freeze the action. Is that what
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
agree with, Sandeep?
So I'll have
Yes.
enough time. If I
Yes.
stand a little far, probably I know I'll have enough time to uh, put it on AFC and then take a picture.
Okay,
Correct.
fine. Okay, everybody agrees to what Sandeep and Dr. Clement has to say. Anybody has any
And
different
continuous
view?
focus, continuous focusing.
Continuous
Yes.
focus,
Yes.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
panning is something that I would probably want to try.
Panning. Anand is saying he would like to try pan. Anybody knows about the panning technique?
No.
No,
No.
sir.
Okay, great. So hold on. Let me just share you the first assignment. I think most of your uh, doubts or queries would get resolved, including Anand's. Okay. So let me just play a video for you.
See the
Master Pitch family, as they say, good photographers don't do. Can you see and can you hear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so did you see the
Yeah, we
topic?
can see, sir.
Did you see the heading?
Yeah, panning
Yep.
technique.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Master Pitch family,
Just hold on.
as they say, the Master Pitch family, as they say, good photographers don't do different things, they just do things differently. And that's precisely what I'm going to demonstrate in this particular video. Say, for example, if I ask you to click a picture of this moving car or this bike, how will you take it? Since the subject is moving, you would probably keep the dial mode to shutter priority, focus mode to AFC, as you can see, since the subject is moving, drive mode to multi-burst. So in 1 second, you will be clicking more than 1 frames, depending on your camera frame rate. Yes, most importantly, shutter speed. Okay. So you will keep a good shutter speed at least of 1 by 800 and let the semi-auto mode, which is shutter priority, do the remaining. So let's see how the results come out to be. Okay, so let's check out the results. Can you see?
But sir, it
Nothing
was
compelling about the pictures. So now I'm going to tell you things how to do it differently. I'm going to teach you the panning technique. In panning technique, what happens is you continuously focus on the subject, and the subject is completely sharp and in focus. But then at the same time, since you are moving the camera following the subject from left to right or right to left, because of the motion of the camera, you get the background with a motion blur, and that gives you a very good result, and it differentiates the picture from what we took previously. Okay, so what are the settings for the panning technique? The command dial is on aperture priority, the drive mode on continuous multi-burst, focus mode on AFC, and most importantly, since you are in shutter priority, shutter is in your control. Aperture would be set by the camera to give you the correct exposure. So for panning technique, you need to be within 1/30th of a second to 1/60th of a second. So let's start with 1/30th of a second. Right? So this is what you need to experiment from 1/30th to 1/60th. Another important mode which you should remember is ISO. I would suggest you keep the ISO on auto mode, because the light conditions are going to change from location to location while you do moving your camera. So let the camera take care of ISO by putting it on auto mode. Okay, so which lens you should be using for this particular panning technique? It could be any medium telephoto lens, since your subject is going to be moving at some distance. So here today I'm going to use 2470. Okay, so this is what I had on my camera, and I'm going to use it for the panning technique. But then anything more than 70 mm, 135 mm is good enough, which should give you excellent results. So let's go, and let me show you how to go about the panning technique. Just remember, follow your subject from left to right or right to left. Make sure that your hands are steady without any vibrations. Do a smooth transition, and that should give you good results. I would suggest the image stabilization could be off, because since you're moving your camera, it shouldn't confuse your lens to mitigate that particular movement. So put it on off. So let's check out the results of the panning technique which we just deployed.
Lovely.
So remember what I said during the beginning of the video? Good photographers don't have to do different things. They have to only do things differently. Okay, so let's dive into our Lightroom and check it out for ourselves, the marked difference between a normal picture and then using a panning technique. The picture on the right hand side is without the panning technique. Just freeze the action. 1/800th of a second, it gives you a good freeze, but then the background doesn't have any motion blur, doesn't give any sense of motion. Whereas the picture on the left hand side is using the panning technique. The shutter speed is slow, 1/30th of a second, right? And you are following the subject throughout its motion. As a result of which, what is happening? Actually, the focus is locked onto the subject that is moving, and it is coming out to be crisp and sharp. And because of the panning technique, the background is getting blurred. And this is the assignment for the week. Follow the video, learn the technique, practice it. Practice your panning technique, post your pictures in the WhatsApp group, or post your link in the comment section of the YouTube link. And I would be happy to review your pictures personally. Happy clicking till we meet next time.
So 1/30, you are telling the shutter speed. In that, there is a chances of you are telling below 30, you should use a tripod. So,
Yes, sir.
but this people are clicking with the camera in your hand. Will it not distort the picture.
No, that's what I mean. I said between 30 and 60. Okay, so anything less than 30, you should. It will be difficult to handhold.
Hmm.
More than 30, but it's good enough. Okay, and since you need motion blur, okay, a little bit out of focus is also
Okay.
uh, it doesn't matter in panning technique.
So two questions. One is that 1 by 60, normally we also looked at 1 by the focal length. So as a number. So 1 by 60 would mean a 60 focal length in which you use 24 by 70. So that doesn't play a role here, one,
No, no,
right?
no. That is not
Okay.
applicable here. But
Got
what
it.
matters is a slow shutter speed for a
Right.
moving subject, which is
Right.
contrary to what we have learned that for a moving subject you
Right.
should always have high shutter speed.
Right.
And in this, sir, in this case, ISO should be kept at what? ISO
ISO
Auto.
should be at auto.
auto. Okay.
The other question I had, or rather, comment which I see is probably move the camera at the speed of the vehicle. So that might probably increase the chances of getting a good photo one. And secondly, I presume that getting continuous focus locked in could be a challenge. Maybe we'll have to look at some ways to practice and get that right.
Yes, yes.
Because it's
And
very difficult to immediately get it, and when you're moving, you don't have too much of time to get that in a fraction of a second or a few fractions. That's my
that is what I want
estimate.
you to see it for
Experiment.
yourself. Yes,
Got it.
you should experience it for yourself. What are the challenges and how far you fare in
Correct,
that
because
particular.
a car is probably easier than a bike, because bike you will want to see the face a little bit more clearly, even if you don't get success.
Anything that is moving, it could be a car,
Agreed.
it could be a two-wheeler, it could be a cycle, okay,
Correct.
it could be a person running, jogging. So so why I gave you this 130th to 160th of a second. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the selection of shutter speed depends on the speed of your subject.
Sure. Right.
Okay, so if the speed of the subject, it's a cycle. So
Right.
probably you will need to have 130th of a second. If it is motorcycle, 150th of a second. Okay, if it is
Right.
fast moving car, so it is relative. So faster the
Right.
subject, the faster should be the shutter speed. But then between 130th to 160th, anything more than that, the background will not work the way you want.
If we try the same thing in the night, do you get to see the light
No,
rays?
don't try it in the night. You won't get, because idea is to have a motion blur in the background. At night time, you will get pitch dark
Right.
backgrounds. It is
No,
to be
but
done in the daytime.
is it the same thing for light rails?
Sir, light rails are different.
Different. Yeah.
We will come to that
Okay.
later. Let's focus on panning now.
Fine. Fine.
So, your question whether I could execute it in the evening is no. You would like to see the greens, you would like to see the sky, you would like to see whatever is there in the background. One more important thing, go for a vibrant background. Okay, a colorful background.
Yeah.
Bushes, shrubs, greens.
And sir, can I able to do this with 1855 or 200 by 500 on my crop camera? Because
Yes,
as of
yes.
now only I can able to,
Yes, yes.
right?
I mean, whatever lens you have is good enough. Okay.
Oh,
When I said you should be having a medium telephoto, because the subject would be at some distance. At 1855, you would be able to get, but then the subject would come out to be a small in the total frame.
and 200 500 will be too much, right? Because then like I need to stand quite far from the
No, no,
subject.
200, 500 would be too much, and that too, panning it, it's a
Right, right,
heavy
right.
lens, not recommended.
Vibration.
Yes, yes, you will get a lot of vibrations and stuff. So it should be
And so
lightweight. Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone.
Excited? Excited? Everybody
Yeah, yeah.
excited?
Yes, yes, yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Chalo, all the best. What do I have to say about this? Yes, I mean, for beginners, good. I could see the motion blur in the background. Okay, the subject is also more or less in focus, even though it could have been better. Uh, One advice: don't crop it abruptly. Okay, can you see a little bit of the bottom of the vehicle is cropped? Okay, that should be avoided. And secondly, the background is pretty dark, right? So as I said, a bright, colorful background always helps. A lot of greens, trees, uh, colorful buildings, sky. So that gives you a better impact with the panning technique. Okay, again the same comments as it is more or less a similar picture. Only thing here, don't click a picture where the nose or the tail of the vehicle is prominently seen. Okay, so when I say that, what I mean is shoot at an angle which is perpendicular to the camera. So the vehicle should be straight in front of you, and that is the picture that you would get the best result. Okay, for panning technique, the vehicle should be moving parallel to you. Okay, when you are shooting from one corner, okay, or this corner, actually the vehicle, if you look at the angle, the vehicle is moving towards you. Okay, it is not moving like at a constant distance parallel to the camera. It is moving towards you. So when it is moving towards you, what will you get? You are in autofocus C, so continuous focusing will happen. But then background motion blur will not be there. Okay, so that is the problem with shooting at this angle, okay, 45 degrees. So I don't know. This is like freeze the action. I don't see the exit. One more thing, as far as possible, try and give your readings so that I can dive deep into that aspect as well, the technical aspects, and come back with a better feedback. Okay, the shutter, aperture, ISOs, at least the basic three exposure triangle settings you should mention against your picture. Here I see it is freeze the action. Okay, with high depth of field, right? You can see the vehicle is also in focus. The building in the background is also in focus. Okay, so this is not what we wanted. All these pictures are like freeze the action with high depth of field. Nowhere you see the panning effect. Okay, so I think this is the course correction what she has done, and these are what this is what we wanted actually. Okay, the vehicle in focus, yes. The background blur, moreover, you're getting a motion blur, right? And the background is also quite busy and a lot of shades and colors and textures. So that is good for panning effect. You see these stripes here, the yellow black. So that is the effect that a riot of colors gives you in your panning technique. Yes. Okay. Avoid having multiple vehicles in the same frame. Otherwise, um, since you're focusing only on one vehicle, the other vehicle would invariably be out of focus. Okay, so might as well focus on only one vehicle. So take care that the composition doesn't have too many subjects. Right? This is not good. The vehicle is totally blurred out. This is much better. Right? Moreover, what I like about this picture is the rule of third being followed here. The vehicle on the PowerPoint, there is more space in the direction where the vehicle is moving, right? And that is what precisely we want. Okay, so whenever you're clicking a picture, it is not only about the technical aspects, but also the composition and the rules of composition that you have to follow. Because photography is not only science, it is also an art. Right, Anjali? Right. Don't crop so tight. Okay, let there be some width to the picture. Okay, so that you get to see the motion blur in abundance. Don't crop it very tight, because any which way your subject is going to be in focus. So if you have less of background, the impact to that extent is less compared to a wide frame where you get that sense of motion. Yes, Partho, very nice. Right. So the contrast is wonderful here. The greens and the red, right? Moreover, the panning effect. Let's see. Good. Partho, this is what I want. Everybody, can you see this? What he has done? 1/40 f8 and 500, 70 mm. So this is what gives me more insight into the picture. So the shutter speed is slow, okay, and therefore you are getting this beautiful panning effect. The rule of 1/3 is also being followed here. The composition is well, and that is giving you this excellent result. Okay, so full marks, Partho. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Again here, uh, the subject is different, right? It's a slow moving vehicle now, a cycle, right? But similar effect. Rule of 1/3, and the greens, and yes. Only thing is, could have been a little sharp.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sir.
this could have been a little sharp,
Little short.
because if it is like tack sharp, na, you will get to see the wheels and the spoke of the wheels in a beautiful motion.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, here I see a little blur kind of a. So maybe a little more practice would help you achieve that finesse. Okay, so I'm just
Yes,
talking
yes.
about the finesse that is lacking. Otherwise, it's a good picture, Partho. Okay, yes. Again, a very good. Yeah, see now? You
There is
see?
a
Yeah, so vehicle bang perpendicular to the camera. Okay, and since it is a big vehicle, focusing is less of an issue here, and therefore you have achieved that tack sharp focus, because we can see the people inside also very clearly, right? And this is what I mean when I say the rims of the vehicle spinning, that gives you that effect of motion. Na? So it has been clearly achieved in this particular picture. Okay, even though the rule of 1/3 is not being followed here, it would
yes,
have been
yes.
better the vehicle
Little
towards the left hand side. And the scooter fellow, yeah, I mean, can't help it. It's a busy road. But then, as I said, one single vehicle would. Um, Avoiding clutter is the main thing, because you want to focus, make your audience focus on the main subject. Yeah, Anjali again. So, no dirt of swanky vehicles in that part of the world. So, beautiful car here, uh, shining red cherry, and yes, the colorful buildings is helping achieve a good panning effect. Only thing, see, the tilted horizon, it is slanting, okay, as if the vehicle is on a up climb, but then make it straight. Okay, very easy to achieve in post processing, right? I hope we all know how to straighten your picture. Good, Anjali. Absolutely wonderful effect of panning. Only thing is take care of the level. Okay. If you're holding your camera properly, you should get it in camera. If there is any tilt, you should correct it before you present it. Okay. Remember that. Okay. Avoid having the subject in the center. With a little bit of cropping, you can achieve the rule of 1/3. So editing, as I said, is very important. It helps you make the picture better. Wow. Yeah, very interesting car, isn't it? Beautiful car, I should say. Right? You have seen these kind of pictures in advertisement of vehicles, cars, in newspapers and all. Right? These are the kind of pictures that you see for a new car launch or something like that. Na? The Marutis, Hyundais of the world. And this is how it is done. Out of focus,
Yes, this is my picture, I
overexposed.
think so, Doctor.
Who is it?
Sandeep.
Sandeep. Sandeep, overexposed. Okay. It's too bright. Okay. I mean, how close you are to the subject? I mean, are you in a car? You are also in a car, is it?
No. I was on a highway standing actually. So
Okay, because it's very close. As
the way,
it looks like you are shooting from the window of your car, and at the same
no,
time driving the car.
no, sir. Actually, I was standing on a highway.
Okay.
It's
Right.
very open highway. Actually, it's Uran road.
Okay.
The highway is quite big, but the vehicles move very fast.
So tell me, Sandeep. I mean, what is that that was missing here? I mean, why did you get these kind of results, which are like uh, overexposed, not in focus? What is the problem area?
Uh, so vehicle is not focused actually. First of all,
Vehicle is not focused.
subject.
The composition is also not proper. Okay, the exposure is also not taken care of. Any idea on the readings? The exposure triangle, you
Uh,
remember?
uh, I have camera, but I don't know whether these pictures are there in the camera.
Okay. ठीक
Uh,
है. So yeah, see, yeah, there is a little improvement. Okay, but then the scope for improvement is still there because it is still overexposed. The vehicle focus to some extent is better than the rest. Okay, the rest were all um, out of focus and blur, so no point comparing with them. But then here it is at least uh, the focus is better. So I would like to believe that you are taking care of the mistakes that you committed in the previous pictures. Okay,
yeah.
right. But then when you see on your screen that it is a lot of whites and your exposure, your histogram would definitely be pointing towards the right hand side. So that is the time when you
Yes.
should have done the corrective action. Okay, which I hope future pictures. Yeah, right. Yeah, I can see that you've been trying to get the exposure right because here you have reduced the exposure, but then in the process, the panning effect has uh,
Gone.
gone
Actually.
completely. Because what you would have done is you would have increased the shutter speed, which would have reduced the brightness of the picture, but increasing the shutter speed also reduces the panning effect. It gives you freeze the action. It is like freeze the action here. Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
sure it is more than 160, 180, maybe more than round about 100th of a second. Okay? Right, but then Sandeep, I can definitely see the struggle. I hope it taught you some aspects about this thing, because overexposed, trying to get it down, underexposed, overexposed again, the composition
Yes, sir.
not up to the mark. Okay, but
Correct.
don't worry. I mean, that is what we are here for. Okay, so full marks, Sandeep, for your efforts, for taking the time out. So no denying that. Okay, and making it a
Thank you.
point to post in the group. Okay, but then yes, as I said, scope for improvement. Yes, who is this gentleman?
So mine, Kunal.
Whose picture are these?
Mine picture, sir. Kunal here.
Kunal. Okay, Kunal. Right. Okay, so yes, but then still some scope for having the subject in focus. I don't see
Okay.
a very sharp subject, the moving vehicle, even though there is some motion blur. Let's check out some next images. Very tight crop, very close to the subject. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
move a little
Right.
back, shoot at wide angle, and I mean, all the pictures are a little underexposed.
Okay.
Okay, they are a little underexposed, particularly this one. You see, all the this part is totally black.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes.
And since the truck here is occupying most of the space, it is hiding the background, so I don't get to see the panning effect. Therefore, I said shoot wide.
Okay.
Okay. Mm, okay, Kunal. I mean, a lot of scope for improvement, I would say.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm. Yes. Yes, sir.
Right. See, the vehicle, when it is perfectly, the focus is tack sharp. Na, you will get to see this vehicle wheels properly. You see, half the vehicle rims are visible, half are blur.
And
Very
so,
clear.
but so focus. So we need to AFC and then only, right? We need to track the subject. Through that only, we need to ensure it remains in focus. Correct?
Yes, AFC, AFC. Uh,
Okay.
as long as you have the focus point on the subject, the camera will always have the subject in
And
focus.
here, then we need to focus in between, or how? Like, means when we try to focus that uh,
Focus on the vehicle. Okay, so
on the vehicle. Okay.
yes, I mean, here there is no particular point that where you need to focus. Whatever you get hold of, since the vehicle is moving, you don't have that liberty of
Correct.
okay, I need to focus on the eye of the driver. No,
Hmm. Hmm.
focus wherever you get the lock on the focus. Okay, on the bonnet, on the side, on the top, wherever.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So this is much better, right, compared to the previous
Hmm.
ones
Hmm. Hmm.
in terms of focus, in terms of panning, right?
Okay.
Even though the background is not very interesting, right? That
Right.
panning effect. See, you, I mean, it's all white. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
the building is all white, so I don't get to see that blur effect.
Effect. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yes. So see now the focus is improving here. Right. Again, a little mismatch in focus. So, Kunal, yes, uh, as I said, a lot of scope for improvement. I'm sure your second attempt would be much better. Okay, but then I want you to go ahead and better this thing
Okay.
over the
So
days to come.
mainly one is focus, right? Focusing. I need to majorly improve on focusing part. That
Focusing
part
part,
and
composition, choice of location.
okay.
Sujit,
Yeah.
yeah, Sujit, what I said, no. your vehicle should not be
Right,
coming
right, right.
towards the camera. It should be moving from left to right, right to left. It should not be
Right.
coming from the front. This is like, you will not get a panning effect here. Right? What is there? The panning effect is because of the movement of your camera. Here, there is no
Yeah,
movement
yeah.
of the camera required because vehicle is coming towards you.
Same.
So maybe there's a turn and it is moving,
Same.
but then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but, okay, this is better.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, I
so
didn't have room in my backside.
yes.
I was on in an oval.
No, therefore,
So,
it's a very tight crop, I would say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, but then better than the previous pictures.
Right.
Okay, this is what I had suggested, right? You see,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
it should be like exactly in front of the camera.
Right.
Avoid clicking pictures this side or this side.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this is your pet, huh?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure it would be a hard task to get him in focus,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yes. He's running so fast. It's very difficult to focus on him.
Yeah, you're running so fast and not sure about the direction where you would be running.
Exactly.
Okay,
Correct.
at least the vehicle, you know that it is moving from left
Yeah,
to
in a
right.
particular direction. Correct.
This fellow will left to right, up to down, and everything he will do.
But
Right.
I'm
So
not going to stop. I'm going to take better pictures of this guy.
yeah, difficult
Yes, yes.
difficult subject you have chosen, but yes, at least the attempt is there.
Yes.
Okay, to some extent, focus is locked on the
Yeah,
subject,
correct. Correct.
but then very difficult to get it perfect here. Good.
Focusing
So
is, I think,
now that you have practiced on a difficult subject, I think this would be quite
yeah, a
easy.
little
Or
better. Correct.
right. Chalo. Good. Yes, this is
Yeah.
better.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of focus, tack sharp. Okay?
Yeah.
The subject, the vehicle, the wheels, everything is in focus. Right? Only the spoil sport is the truck behind. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
would have
That was the
turned
only
out to be.
contrast I could get, the moving vehicles.
No, even the greens were like better,
Okay.
but then this
Yes.
was like a really this is like a ISO in this picture now.
The
The
highway
background.
is so busy, you can't expect a dead space
Yes.
like this.
Right. See, now when I say avoid vehicles, but then in this case, the vehicles are actually
Yeah,
working in
giving
your favor, right?
correct,
Giving you that
correct.
motion blur,
Yes.
right? And they are all moving in the same plane because
Correct.
they are on the other side of the road. So they are moving
Yes.
on in the same plane.
Right.
Okay? So that gives you an even blur.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is the uneven blur. Some vehicles very close, some vehicles very far, and then your subject in between,
Right.
sandwiched.
Okay.
That is what you should avoid. If this is the kind of effect you are getting, I mean, it's good. Okay, colorful vehicles in the background at a equal space from the camera. Okay, rule of one third not being followed here. The breathing
Yes.
space,
Yeah. Correct.
the vehicle should be this side here.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, good, doctor. Good. I think,
Thank
yeah. See, your focus is like really wonderful. I mean,
you. Yeah.
beautiful. 50 mm. All these are 50 mm.
50 mm.
And that is the reason why it looks so close because you are very close to the
Correct.
vehicles. Right. So,
Thank you.
ladies, gentlemen, I think you had a good time shooting all these people.